and podcast. Today we've got Paul, Liam, Lamar, and Matthew coming at you guys. We are talking NFL Draft recap. Did your teams get the players that you wanted? Paul, start us off.
All right, guys. How are you guys today?
Good.
Pretty good.
Thanks for joining us, Matt. I know everybody had a really long weekend. We had our guy on the front stage, Liam. Liam, how was it there?
The draft was awesome. Being there was cool. I tried to network myself as much as possible. Got some selfies with some ESPN guys.
I saw those. Those were great. Those were great.
Had a great time. Went to a Cavs game. Devontae Smith sitting courtside. The next night, he becomes an Eagle. The night after that, he's courtside at the Sixers game getting a fist pump from Joel Embiid. What a 48-hour stretch.
And Lamar, you had a time in Vegas this weekend, huh?
Yeah, it was great, man. Can't wait to go back. Didn't want to leave.
How much money did you leave there?
I didn't gamble that much. I did some bets that I lost, but about $20. That's it.
All right. All right. So to start it off today, we're going to recap the NFL draft. I mean, that was 3 days. What was it? 3 days of fun.
3 days, yeah.
It was as long as I can imagine. And Matt, you are in Ireland. So did you sleep at all for 3 days?
No, I was watching it from. I went to bed at 5:30 a.m. on the Thursday, the Friday, and then 1:30 a.m. yesterday.
Man, that's just dedication. When did you sleep?
You don't need sleep. I'm fine because I've been watching NFL games. All the NFL games are usually on from 1:30 in the morning till 3:30, 4 anyway. So I'm always watching those games. My body's built to last around American time now.
Hey, and how about your mother-in-law? Did she do good in the draft, man? I know she's a hardcore drafter, right?
No, she's got notes on players already for the fantasy draft. So she's got players she likes already. So I'm not giving any hints this year. I've told them you're doing it. You know, they find their own players. But if you're in the EDF fantasy league, if you're in the same league, I can't give any hints this year.
I can't wait for that anyway. All right. So we all knew when the draft started that Lawrence was going to go first, that Wilson would go second, and then it was the third pick that had everybody wondering. And in fact, I have to admit, I had a $50 bet that it would be Fields. Matt was sitting there with me when I got my heart broke and lost that money. But so the real draft kind of really started right there, and then in some ways went as predicted, but in other ways it kind of went off a little on the side. What did you think about the pick at number 3, Jack?
I think, look, it was rumored, right? Everybody was like, okay, Kyle Shanahan really likes Mac Jones. And that's where everybody kind of started asking the questions. Was he going to stick to his guns? Was it just a smoke screen for Fields? And at the end of the day, apparently no one let Shanahan know, from what I read, what was actually going to go down. Like Lynch kind of made his gut pick, and it was Trey Lance. And my quarterbacks I had in this draft, I thought that it was, I thought it was Lawrence, Wilson, and Lance that were the best. Like, I know it's a small sample size out of a small school, but
16 starts, yeah.
But the Midwest has been really pumping out quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen's out of Wyoming. Carson Wentz, you guys might know him, North Dakota State. Oh, by the way, Trey Lance went to the same school. The kid's big, he's mobile, and Kyle Shanahan's going to make it easy. And to be quite honest, he just can do more things than Mac Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a great pick.
Lamar, what did you think of that pick?
I thought it was a great pick. He's going to fit well with that Shanahan system, all them bootlegs and those naked bootlegs they like to run. Him being mobile like that is going to help that out a lot. It's in 16 starts only, but Shanahan's good at coaching quarterbacks. So, I mean, he's going to put faith in his coaching ability to help him get to that next level. So, I think it was a great pick.
Come on, Matt. I know you got something to say. Go for it.
I'm torn on this because if they would have gone with Fields, they could have had a guy they could have started now because the guy's a mobile quarterback in Fields. He can make things happen. The 49ers didn't improve their receiving core. And outside of Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, you've got Trent Taylor, Richie James. So I don't, and obviously, as we know, Kittle is an absolute beast. But I thought if you're going to bring a young guy in, they would have got a receiver, and they didn't. So they went at number 3. Does this mean Jimmy G starts for a year and they don't play Trey Lance? But I don't know. Is there too much expectation on this kid and what they're going to get out of it? For me, there's still an uncertainty of just what his ceiling is.
Liam, go ahead, man.
I think it was the right pick because, like Lamar said, he's going to work in the Shanahan system. Do you guys remember when Deshaun Watson first asked out of Houston, and everyone was saying, "Oh, the spot he should go is San Francisco because of how he would work with it." Well, like Trey Lance is like a raw version of Deshaun Watson with Colin Kaepernick's legs. So why wouldn't he work in the Shanahan system? He's a long strider, and I know he played in the FCS, but what do you look for in a player in the FCS? Do they dominate? Not are they just good, do they dominate? He dominated. He played under center more than any quarterback in college. A lot of Shanahan's system is under center, and he is a physically imposing talent that is going to stay a lot more durable because of how he's built. It was a great pick. I don't care if Justin Fields could have started now and won them a Super Bowl in the next 2 years when Trey Lance can possibly win them 3 over the next 12.
I mean, Trey Lance also plays with a great freedom. You know, those Midwestern quarterbacks, they're so big and they're so athletic. Josh Allen, Carson Wentz, they both play with a freedom, right? And if you watch Trey Lance and the play does break down, he has just such natural gifts. He doesn't get nervous. It's not too big for him. Justin Fields might have been the better pick for this year, but Garoppolo's starting this year. Next year, Trey Lance is going to be leaps and bounds ahead of Fields. And oh, by the way, if Trey Lance went to Ohio State, what would he have done in the Big Ten? Like, I know we talk about how great the Big Ten is, but, Ohio State blows everybody out by 20 every year. It's no different than what North Dakota State does.
All the 49ers need is a game manager. They're a running team. They went out and they got Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell on top of Mostert and Justin Wilson Jr. You don't need a phenomenal quarterback for that.
Let me ask you guys something though, real quick. I heard a lot about, and this wasn't just from one. I heard this a lot over these last couple of days, that there were really only 2 quarterbacks that were worthy and ready to come in and play now. Do you guys buy into that? Or are all these guys you're talking about right now? I mean, obviously San Francisco thought that Lance could come right in, right, and play. So are all of these ones that we're talking about, from Lawrence to Wilson to Lance to Fields himself, can all of them come in, and will they all come in and play right this year?
There's 4 people that can play this year: Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones.
3 people who can play this year. I'm taking out Zach Wilson, but he has no choice but to play this year. Zach Wilson would benefit so much from a growth year under a veteran quarterback that he doesn't have, and he has a first-year head coach. Sorry, Zach. Sorry.
So in saying that, though, is it New York, or is it just that he's not ready?
I don't think that his body is ready for the NFL level with the reckless abandon that he plays. I get that he has Vera Tucker and Mekhi Becton anchoring his 2 tackle sides, and that's a great place to start. He plays like Brett Favre with the body of a college quarterback. Like he's not built. He's not built at all. Like he's like. I think he would really, really benefit from a year of strength and conditioning. And look, nobody's going to be under more pressure of this quarterback class simply because of the fact that, like you said, he's in New York.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask this though: if Zach Wilson went to Notre Dame, would he have been the number 1 pick?
No,
he could have been.
No,
like people just don't. The people care about that he went to BYU so much that they discredit his talent.
I don't care that he went to BYU.
Everyone does.
I'm just looking at him.
He's a little bit smaller, but
Trey Lance went to North Dakota State. I don't care where Zach Wilson went. I care that he looks like a freaking teenager.
Lamar, what do you think of Wilson?
I like Wilson. I mean,
is he ready to come in?
That's what the offseason. That's what this offseason's for. Get the weight room, get bigger.
He better put on 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Well,
There is
Baker
one
Mayfield put on
quarterback.
Baker
There is
Mayfield
one
put on
quarterback
20
we didn't
pounds and it made him
mention.
worse.
Baker Mayfield is compact.
But he put on 20 pounds and it made him worse.
Yeah.
Then he got back in the weight room and he got some length to him.
Well, he put on 20 pounds in the gut. He didn't put on 20 pounds in the
Right? But he put on 20 pounds so he could take the hits in the NFL, and it made him worse. Now he lost the weight and it made him quicker.
Or did he fill in the weight?
Huh?
Or did he fill in the weight?
It doesn't.
There is, guys. There's one quarterback we didn't mention that could start. Davis Miles at the Texans.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, but he may not have a choice.
That's my sleeper right there too. I like him
because is he better than Tyrod Taylor? I know me and Jeff had this conversation, but if you're the Texans and you're in rebuild mode, are you going with the rookie now and seeing what he's got because you've got nothing to lose?
Correct.
Yeah.
Look, if he doesn't end up in the wheelchair by game 6, he'll be fine. No, he's a Stanford kid. He's smart, but at the end of the day, his situation reminds me of David Carr. Houston wasn't ready for a franchise quarterback, and even if Davis Mills is good, he can get banged up quick. By the way, he's had 2 knee surgeries already. I like the kid.
Yeah. And then the other one is Ian Book at the Saints. Does Ian Book, if the Saints are having a bad season, Winston's not working out, do the Saints give Ian Book a shot at the end of the season if they're not playing for the playoffs?
No.
Probably not, because it's probably going to be, here's my prediction. I don't think your quarterback is going to be Jameis Winston. I think it's going to be Taysom Hill.
I'm going with Jameis.
You're going with Jameis?
Let me ask you guys a question, though, about one of the other ones that was a big name, though. Why did Fields fall so far that he did? Because there were a lot of teams that had a chance to take him, and I'm just going to mention one, and I know why they didn't, but the Broncos, who a lot of people thought that was the ideal situation and time for them. But why did he keep going to where he did?
In my opinion, because if you watch his tape, he never comes off of the first receiver. He throws the touchdown to the first receiver, but Mac Jones could have thrown touchdowns to just one receiver all year too. But he looked off other receivers and he actually manipulated the defense. Where Justin Fields was beating up on Northwesterns and Rutgers and those type of teams. But when he faced the real defense in Indiana, he struggled. Like when Indiana bodied up those Ohio State receivers, he didn't look all that great.
Yeah, Mac Jones is your old school pocket passer. He's not mobile. He's not quick. He has to learn to read defenses quick. He gets the ball out quick because he can't do what Kyler Murray does, what Justin Fields will be able to do. He doesn't want a quick 40, so he has to be good at finding the tight windows. And I think that Justin Fields, for me, he could be a better version of Lamar Jackson. In fact, he can get away with running out the pocket if he needs to. But it's going to be tough for him because could he be better than Kyler Murray? Could he be Lamar Johnson level? I just want to see where he falls in the next 2 years.
Well, why can't he just be Justin Fields? Like, why does he have to be Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson?
Because I think Kyler Murray he's a good passer, and I think his rookie year he ran for his life, and I think last year he was trying to pass the ball more, and he was trying not to rely on his feet. But Lamar Jackson, for me, and I know Jack changed his mind on him, and I'm not quite there. Michael Vick, as he got older in his career, he got a better passer. I'm not quite sure if Lamar Jackson, if he has a massive injury like Russell Wilson did, can he convert from being a mobile passer to a pocket passer?
What major injury did Russell Wilson have?
Russell Wilson hurt his knees 4th year into his career, and he suddenly stopped running. You see his rush yards. His rush yards dropped because he started to be more patient. He didn't run out the pocket, and I think that's something that Justin Fields wants to run around, and he's trying to go north and south. Wilson stays, as his career's gone, he's staying more stable in the pocket, and he's not trying to run around. He's waiting for things. He's being more patient. I think Justin Fields, if he doesn't get an injury, can he be a guy that can just stand there and pass the ball? Has he got the confidence of releasing the ball?
I don't know why I'm blanking so hard on that. I feel like Russell. Why do I think Russell Wilson's never missed a game? Either way, besides that point, Justin Fields, I still think should have gone to the Jets, and the fact that he's ended up in Chicago, I don't know why. Like I love football. I love like sports as a whole, and I love to root for like different things. And I find myself rooting like I'm hyped for like 25 different teams after this draft just because of how like the things fell into their hands. Like it's exciting. The future of the league's exciting. Chicago has a quarterback. Chicago, and a quarterback that's meant for Chicago. This dude is a cold weather, mentally strong, physically strong buff, and they are going to love him. Congratulations, Bears.
So we talk about it matters where you go, right? That's we always say that, right? Like I wouldn't have loved Trevor Lawrence as the Jets quarterback. I think he needs a coach to lean on. I think he's a phenomenal talent, but I think having Urban Meyer bring him along is a little bit better. In the same respect, if it was Zach Wilson having to, talk to and be coached, I kind of think his attitude is a little Aaron Rodgers. He likes to learn and do things on his own. Justin Fields' landing spot is perfect. Although Mitch Trubisky didn't pan out, the backup from North Carolina, I think Matt Nagy's a really good quarterback guru. He really knows quarterbacks. And I think that, the do-over that Pace got here and moving up and clearly taking the mistake that Philly made in Justin Fields was a fantastic move.
Hey, well, I see that little shade, and you're wrong.
No, it's a fact. There's not shade. They missed. They traded with Dallas. You don't trade in the division.
Because we had to get Devontae. The Giants were going to take him.
He better be Jerry Rice.
You don't never trade. You would never see Denver trading with the Raiders. Come on,
Jerry Rice.
You don't do
Jerry
that, man.
Rice. He can have a very good 8-year career, and that's fine. Jerry Rice. Has anyone ever been Jerry Rice?
Do you trade up for the third best wide receiver in the draft?
I agree. I was about to say that.
Who just so happened to be there at third.
Randy Moss, you trade up for.
We traded up to 10.
Right. Why? Were the Cowboys taking
Ask the Dolphins. They traded up for Waddle.
Hey, he's going to add some value to Tua. Lamar, what do you think about Fields falling?
I think it's unfortunate, but he went to a spot where you got a chance to start. They got some talent out there around, so they're going to definitely have a good defense. But it's going to come down to how well you process information. You got to be quick. You can't hold on to the ball. You can run all around you want to, but if you can't process information and read defenses, you ain't going to make it. So you're going to have to do a better job at that. Can't be looking down. You can't be looking down at one receiver. It lead to a lot of pick sixes.
Okay, speaking of that, though, I want all of you and Lamar, go ahead and keep going. Tell me about Lawrence, though. Is he a lock at that number one? Is he going to come in and he's just going to play and he's going to make Jacksonville good?
I don't trust Saban. I mean, I'm not Saban. I don't trust what's it?
Meyer.
I don't trust Urban Meyer at all. 2 years and he's gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Or he gonna get, but yeah, I bet. Yeah, I think he's gonna quit. He got a history of doing it. But yeah, I like Trevor Lawrence, and
that health will come up all the time.
As long as they surround him with some good players around him, I think Trevor Lawrence could lead them to some wins.
Doesn't Meyer usually quit after he wins something, though? I mean, he's won everywhere he's gone. By the way, Trevor Lawrence hasn't lost a regular season game since Pee Wee football. I mean, Lawrence wins football games.
Yeah, didn't he win 4 high school championships too?
Yeah, his athleticism is off the charts. Even if he does make mistakes early, which he will, his athleticism will bail him out. He's in the model of a Josh Allen or a Justin Herbert. He's a big, strong guy, and Jacksonville got a good one.
But I think the addition of Marvin Jones really helps him because Marvin Jones is a very, very intelligent receiver too for the Jags. So having Chark, Marvin Johnson, and then you've got Shenault Jr., I think he's got 3 very good receivers there, and he should be able to put up good numbers.
Shenault's a slot machine too.
Yeah, and to answer the question, yes, this is perfect because they're deciding to build around him and make him like the one very focal point. He's ready to come in and like in relativity of like is he going to make the Jaguars good? Well, what is good after winning your first game and then losing your last 15? They'll have 8 wins this year. They could be 8-9 in a 17-game schedule, and that makes them good because you think that they could get to 10, 11, 12 the following year as they continue to build. So will he make them Good is like it's weird. He will make them much better. They're gonna win.
How about he'll make them relevant? Like Jacksonville has been relevant since people got their
They've been
pom-poms out
relevant
for
like
Blake
literally
Bortles.
2 or 3 years of their franchise history, and they will finally be relevant.
Okay. I mean, I'll accept that. But let's move on from the quarterbacks, although that's fun, and we could probably go forever on the QBs. But what about the number 4 pick, Kyle Pitts? All you heard, and I'm a little bit biased, so I'm going to stay out of this for a minute, only a minute, because I got to say my piece. But all we heard, all three, is how he's the best player in the draft, best offensive player, best player. Tommy, do you agree? Go ahead, Lamar.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the tight end can line up everywhere on the field and can cause a lot of mismatch problems. And man, it's going to be Atlanta. They got a good pick right there. But they talking about trading. I want to see him play with Julio Jones though, so they can have. So who you going to double?
There's your question right there too. Is Julio going to stay? And to me also, didn't he also the quarterback Ryan, didn't he also throw to another pretty good tight end?
Yeah, we had Hayden Hurst, who was brilliant in fantasy last year, but I think Hayden Hurst loses a lot of fantasy value with Kyle.
I'm talking about Tony. Didn't he throw to Tony too?
Just for a few years.
Just for a few? Yeah, but he got to throw to him. My point is that he knows how to throw to a tight end, and I think that kind of experience that he has will help Pitts even more. So that could be a dangerous combination, is what I'm saying.
Well, it remains to be seen if Trevor Lawrence is going to be one of the 3 or 4 or 5 best quarterbacks who ever lived. If Kyle Pitts just keeps on producing and doesn't get hurt, I think he's kind of like locked in to be a top 5, 10, and 3 to 7, 8 greatest tight end of all time. So he could very well end up being greater at his position than Trevor Lawrence ever was at his position. I've never seen anybody with his size and speed be able to cut like he does and move in patterns like he does, and he's so good at the catch point. When I heard that he was Michael Evans and a Darren Waller body, I started to watch more tape, and then I started to see exactly that. And that's really, really, really scary when your teammates are Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, because
the truth is he was the second best wide receiver in this draft.
He was.
I mean, that's really the truth. He ran wide receiver drills because he didn't even want to be considered a tight end, even though
he was the best.
It boded well. Huh?
Well, then he was the best.
Well, I mean, Jamar Chase is going to be a Ferrari.
Jamar Chase is phenomenal.
He's going to be a Ferrari, but Kyle Pitts is going to be strong. And in fact, Kyle Pitts and Julio Jones on the field at one time, by the way, Calvin Ridley's running around, is unfair.
Who do you guard? Who do you put on Pitts? Because you're going to have to cover Pitts with somebody who isn't equipped to cover him.
Yeah, and by the way, your quarterback once upon a time went to Boston College. He's no dummy. Matt Ryan's a great quarterback, and
they have no running game either. Mike Davis as your main running back is awful.
Matt Ryan might throw for 6,000 yards this year.
Yeah,
I mean, and I'm joking, but I'm serious. He averages 4,500 yards a season, so all you need is 1,500 more. We just added Kyle Pitts, by the way. 26 touchdowns in 2020 and 2018. He threw for 35. Matt Ryan's going to go probably in the 11th round of fantasy football drafts this year because people forget about him because he's older, and he's going to have a top 5 season.
Does Julio stay?
Yes.
Well, he's got a £23 million cap hit for any team that takes it, unless he restructures.
So too much for anybody.
I think it's one of them things where they really don't want to trade him, but let's dangle him out there and see somebody offer something crazy, and then they take it. I think it's one of those things.
There are rumors going around that New England didn't take a wide receiver. We've had chats with them, and we might go back to them for Julio Jones, but I think the price is too high for probably what the Falcons want, unless we're willing to give up some picks in 2022. But we definitely won't give up a first or second for him.
To try to get back a little bit to the quarterback only for a moment, that number 9 pick with the Broncos, when they didn't take Fields and they took Surtain, what did you think about that move?
God bless the Denver Broncos. And also
Phenomenal.
the Carolina Panthers, who, by the way, my jersey of the day is Will Grier, the third-string quarterback on
I got to say that. Way to go.
Virginia University, let's go Mountaineers. The Panthers committed to building around Sam Darnold, which means if he and P.J. Walker, the backup, get injured, they committed to building around Will Grier. I'm hyped. All right.
Oh, my God.
Back to it. I'm sitting with my buddies in Cleveland.
You need a Jacob Eason jersey from the Colts, because I'm sure he's still sitting at the back end of the depth chart as well.
Darn right. I'm sitting with my college buddies who I haven't seen in years when I was in Cleveland watching the first round of the draft after I'm off my shift. And when the Panthers pick came in and it said J.C. Horn, I texted all my friends, the Panthers are idiots. The Panthers are idiots. Not because I think they made a bad pick, but just because I was so hyped at what was coming down the board for my Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. And then the Broncos took Surtain, who the Cowboys were going to take at 10. And that was everything to me, because that set the wheels in motion for the Giants to not get Devontae Smith, and for the Eagles to get Devontae Smith, and then for the Giants fans to be upset about them getting Kadarius Toney, and the and the Dallas Cowboys not
a good pickup.
Part of their defense. I'm very excited about how things turned out. Thank you, Denver Broncos. You got a great one, and you know what? You did the world a favor. You did the Northeast a favor.
As long as we're talking about missed opportunities, right? And as far as the quarterbacks go, you know, the greatest development before the draft was about the fact that the Aaron Rodgers bomb on the Green Bay Packers, right? Like that set the tone for the draft. Like, the Packers offered the 49ers offered the Packers. That's what it was. They offered them the 3rd pick, and they said, no, we're not trading Aaron Rodgers. It's like, well, you might not have a choice. Aaron Rodgers will not play for the Green Bay Packers this season.
He'll retire before he comes back.
He said that he'd rather attend his family function than be a Green Bay Packer this year. We all know how affectionate he is.
Oh yeah. You know that's bad.
Then you had the opportunity to take someone, I don't know, Trey Lance from North Dakota State. It's kind of in your neck of the woods, and you absolutely missed it. So my opinion is Green Bay is now Cincinnati for the next 15 years.
Well, let's be honest. We have no idea what else was like sifted in through that trade. And John Lynch said in an interview, he's like, I got the feeling very quickly that this was going nowhere. You're not going to just give up the 3 pick for Aaron Rodgers. You're going to give up the 3 and at least 2 more first-round picks, maybe 3 more first-round picks. I get he's older, an MVP, and he's going to win you a Super Bowl in San Francisco.
Well, they drafted Jordan Love last year in the first round for a reason.
And I hope he's ready.
Well, I hope he's ready too. Maybe they will be the Bengals, but the point is, you're not going to take Trey Lance a year after trading up for Jordan Love. And I think the pick of Eric Stokes, who was overreach at what were they?
That was a huge overreach. He's second round.
A very big reach. It signals that the Packers know. I think they know that they're really kind of like sunk on this. Dan Orlovsky's tweet said it best. In the past 10 first rounds since Aaron Rodgers became a starter, it's 9 defensive players and the quarterback that's supposed to be his successor. They have not gotten him a first-round wide receiver, tight end, or lineman. It's been 9 defensive players and a quarterback.
And I don't think Amari Rodgers is really a great pickup for them.
My refrigerator could draft better than the Green Bay Packers general manager. I hope he's watching, because that's who they want gone. Aaron Rodgers said, I'll step on the field as long as that guy doesn't step back in the office. I just believe that Green Bay is only relevant because of Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Like, they're the ones that keep the legacy going.
It's called Title Town. What?
I guess. When was their last title they had? Was it in the 2000s? Oh, and by the way, here's a stand up for your. Here, I'll stand up for your Philadelphia Eagles. The first Super Bowl was won by the Green Bay Packers, but before it was the Super Bowl, it was the NFL Championship, and those Philadelphia Eagles beat the Packers twice. I mean, that's just a fact. People are, the Eagles don't have Super Bowls. Yeah, well, because you tacked a different name on it. We beat that team twice. You changed the team. You changed the name, but we're the better team.
So do you think that Rodgers stays around this year? Then is he gonna play for Green Bay, or will he move?
He's
Never.
done. Never Bronco.
No, if he retires, he has to give back 11 million in side bonuses. But he's got his money from. He did really well in Jeopardy, and they've said, the full-time job. They pretty much offered it to him.
Mhm.
He says, you can't back me into a corner because if the point comes, I don't want to play football. You're not going to trade me. I'll just retire, and I've made my money. I'll go into TV. So it's not like I've got to come back to Green Bay. So Green Bay Packers, no, I can't force him to make a decision. So it's going to have to be go to camp, see what you've got, but he's not in a rush to come back.
Well, he owns stuff in town. He owns stuff in town. He is a 25% stake owner in the Milwaukee Bucks. It's nothing against Wisconsin or the people. Hey, Green Bay, he doesn't like you.
The Packers organization sucks. Either way, state the team that he's going to be on next year. I think he's going to be a Bronco.
Yeah, I'll jump with that. Yeah, Broncos.
Matt?
It's the best destination for him, but I don't think the Packers want him going to the Broncos.
So you think he's going to be a Jeopardy guy?
I think the Packers don't want to trade him. They made it very, very clear we're not going to trade. We're not going to trade you.
Paul, we got to start a poll: Broncos or Jeopardy for Aaron Rodgers?
Jeopardy. I'm going to go with Jeopardy.
That's good, but people.
LeVar, what do you think? Will he be a Raider, LeVar?
Yeah, Lamar, what do you think?
I wish he'd be a Raider. It's one of the teams in name, but if they trade him, they better get everything they want. If they don't get what they want, then I'm calling this bluff. Retire in.
Yeah, because he's got nowhere to go.
If we trade him, draw the line. Like, I want this, and ain't no negotiating after that. Just give me this, or we ain't trading him.
Right. Lamar, what's your take on Derek Carr? What's his ceiling?
I mean, I like Carr. I just wish he would run more, and get out the pocket more. And because he got athletic ability, that's the only problem I got with him. Other than that, he's fine. I just want to get him.
Can you win with him?
I think so.
I mean, he's more of Derek Bike, right? He's not really a car. Like, he's all right. Yeah. He's more of a two-wheeler, right? You got to bring the pump with you. You got your fingers crossed when they play the Chiefs, even though they usually beat them. He's more Derek Bike.
He's a gun-shy quarterback who's too worried about the I guess the negative result of a could-be big play. He's very accurate, but he comes off to me as unpoised, and I don't want to say mentally weak, but I don't think he's as locked in as up here as
it was almost an MVP 3 years ago.
I mean, he didn't play well last year. Our defense just sucked.
Yeah.
Beep. No. I get you guys. Look, getting back to the draft, though, so I want each of you to come up with this. Tell me who you think was the best pickup for your team, okay? And then I want you to tell me who was the worst.
Oh, this is easy.
Go for it, Matt.
The best pickup for us was Christian Barmore. I think he is phenomenal. And the worst pickup for us, Joshua Bledsoe and Trey Nixon, because neither are making the roster.
Really?
Yeah. Ronnie, I would, if the order of the three I really liked, it would be Christian Barmore, Ronnie Perkins, then Mac Jones. And I like Ramonde Stevenson, but I think he's a replacement for Sony Michel. But we took him too early.
Lamar, what about the Raiders?
Best pickup was Trayvon Moring.
Definitely, yes.
That's that.
I wanted him,
especially in the second round. I thought we blew it when we drafted Leatherwood in the first. So I had a feeling they was going to go offensive lineman. I just didn't know which one.
Then Jack. Oh, go ahead, Lamar. Sorry.
Leatherwood probably be the worst pick, but I think he's still going to be a quality. I think he's going to be a quality starter, and if he don't work out right tackle, they can easily move him to guard. So I'm not all upset like all the other Raider fans on Twitter crying Thursday night.
And Jack.
I don't necessarily. I like to sit in the analyst booth. Like I don't necessarily have a team. I really don't. No, because I like the story. right? The story is what matters, right? Because then you could do many things with it. You know, it's like clay. You could really build something for somebody. That's what I like doing. I think Kyle Pitts is an absolute steal. It says a lot about what Matt Ryan has left, and that organization was smart. I liked what the Bears did, jumping up for Justin Fields. They knew they needed somebody. I know they love Andy Dalton, but I thought that Justin Fields was the right move. And I absolutely laughed at the Devonta Smith trading in division for a wide receiver who's, I'll tell you what, he had a lot of free space last year, and he's super thin.
So I'll tell you mine since Liam just took off. For the Broncos, I loved Javonte Williams, okay, because leaving the guy that they let go, letting the guy go that they let go, Lindsey, I thought was a mistake. And also they need a power back, and this guy that they got now gives them everything they need. And every down back, a guy who could catch it out of the backfield, who can give them that long. Last year, the Broncos lost how many times when the game came down to the last minutes? They lost a bunch of games in those last minute of the game. They get a guy now who can actually run the ball and help kill a clock, help Locke out. To me, Locke got better as soon as they drafted Williams. He's gonna help Locke be a better quarterback. Now, I don't want to call it the worst, but the one that I think was scratched my head was Seth Williams, the wide receiver from Auburn.
Yeah.
We're just so stacked at wide receiver that I just didn't understand that. Maybe it's just another body, but he wasn't exactly a burner. He was an average receiver, really, to a group that is as packed as we have. It just didn't make sense to me.
Probably just to create competition.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Bodies in camp, but I don't know if he'll be there in the end. Okay, Liam, go for them Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, since Jack likes to roast on the Eagles. Well, first off, Paul, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the Broncos starter, not Drew Lock.
I want Drew Lock to start.
Yeah,
he's immature. He's terrible. You want him to start because I know why you want him to start.
He make our defense look good.
No, wait. You'll see.
Okay. So the best pick that the Eagles made was Devonta Smith. Obviously, it's not even close. It's our best pick since Zach Ertz in round 2 of 2013. You could argue Carson Wentz because we won a Super Bowl, but as far as Eagles tenure or possible tenure for Devonta Smith is concerned, this is our best pick in 8 freaking years, and it's the same guy doing the drafting. What does that say about this organization?
I hope you're sarcastic there.
Jack, who's a better pick this year for the Eagles? Because you didn't let me get to my worst pick for the Eagles. My worst pick for the Eagles is everybody else because I know it was the wrong pick. Because
I'll tell you what though. I'll give you a pick I like for the Eagles. How about that? Because I don't want to rag on.
Don't say Landon Dickerson. Don't say it.
I just don't believe that you're going to have the same quarterback there in 2 years. And Devonta Smith is not even going to be really given an opportunity because you don't know if you had a guy throwing to him. The guy really liked
to throw it to him
in the 5th round. In the 5th round, I actually really liked Kenneth Gainwell. He's a decent running back out of Memphis. Like that dude can really run. He was rated a top 4 running back and slipped to the 5th round. Like that
was a big pickup.
That was a great draft right there.
That was.
I want to like your stuff. Not you, but I want to like what they do, but they just go off script. You know, it's like halfway through, you just flip through the paper and you start drinking bourbon in Philly. I don't know what happens.
Listen, we trade up for us. We don't trade. I'm sorry. We draft a center in the 2nd round, Landon Dickerson, who I think could be without the injuries could have been phenomenal. Great. We take him off 2 ACL tears. You want to know who was on the board? Asante Samuel Jr. You want to know what we really need? A freaking cornerback. I know that all the rest of those picks were the wrong pick. I don't care if you like this running back dude because Howie Roseman made the pick. This was his he made one good pick in 8 years, and it was Devonta Smith.
Tell us how much you like. And if Devonta Smith doesn't turn out very well.
His jersey's in the mail already, okay?
Does Howie Roseman have an ad on Twitter we can get at?
No, but he has a face on my dartboard, I'll tell you that much.
Jack, does that mean I can't be a Jordan Howard truther anymore? that mean it's the end of it now?
You crushed me with Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard. I'll tell you, Howie Roseman liked Jordan Howard too.
I am ashamed. I
love Liam and I want to love Philly, but the fact of the matter is I check off all the time when they do things.
Me too, which is why I'm excited for once.
I would curb your enthusiasm.
Okay, guys, tell me who the team is that did nothing, that they didn't get better at all. Do you have one of those? Oh, see, I got you.
The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys didn't get better at all, and I'll tell you why. Because a rookie should not be stepping onto your defense and being the best player on your defense if you have real aspirations to go far, which the Dallas Cowboys always do, because Jerry Jones, for some reason, 8 times a year references his own mortality. He wants a Super Bowl that bad. What do? They get a really, really good player on the level of their defense where they really didn't need to bolster, like they needed to bolster their line and they needed to bolster their secondary. And then they overreach for pretty much all the rest of their picks. I love it. I don't care that Micah Parsons is there because Wolf Hunter Van Der Esch is always hurt because Jalen Smith's injuries have robbed him of his speed. But you know what? They're still the best level of that defense. And they needed the corner, and they didn't get it. I said it earlier. Thank you to the Panthers. Thank you to the Broncos. The Cowboys did not get better.
So
Jabril Cox, Micah Pearson, and then when they got Calvin Joseph, that is 3 phenomenal defensive players.
We'll see. We'll see how they develop them because they don't do that.
Because Paul, you liked Calvin Joseph as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah. He's a good defensive back.
Don't tell me that.
No, they got a couple of good ones. Now they didn't get the best. The defensive backs though, they were really deep, and one of them was Asante Samuel. To me, the way he kept falling was mind blowing because I had him rated way up there high. I knew a lot of people had him rated high, so I don't know why he fell back.
I think he'll do well at the Chargers. I think that's a team that he can make an instant impact.
He's a ball hawk with
James
good
could be
genes.
really good with Casey Hayward too.
Yeah.
So
and Derwin James back as well.
Yeah.
The pick
Chris
that I
Hayward ain't
like,
there no more.
I really didn't
Hayward's
like.
not there.
I don't think it made them any better. I don't think the Najee Harris made Pittsburgh any better. Like
Why?
I'll attack both sides of Pennsylvania. How's that, Liam?
Wait, why?
Just yesterday, right?
Because listen, because he's not Saquon Barkley. He's not, even
He's better.
is he?
I think so.
Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what.
Better than Saquon Barkley?
I think his ceiling is James Conner.
Oh,
You know why? Because
whoa!
he's got better moves.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about his ceiling.
His ceiling is James Conner.
Didn't James
His
Conner have a
floor.
1,300 yard? Didn't James Conner have a 1,300 yard year with 11 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns? Is that a bad ceiling? He had that ceiling.
Yes, it's a bad ceiling because he's their replacement. He's going to Arizona where he's not even going to be the starting running back. He's not a great running back. You have the chance to draft a really good one. No, he's not Saquon Barkley, Paul. I'm sorry.
Pittsburgh
He's
has
better than Travis Etienne.
Better.
Floor.
his floor is Trent Richardson because Pittsburgh has no line.
Then
He's an Alabama back. That's a fact.
Richardson.
No,
Who would you-
listen, I am here to entertain a little
Yeah.
bit, but that's a fact. Pittsburgh's line is really, really bad.
Who would
And
you
I
rather
don't
have, Jack, Travis Etienne or Najee Harris?
Don't say
I would rather have Travis Etienne because of the familiarity with the quarterback coming in.
okay,
100%.
but cancel that for the Steelers because you said it made the Steelers didn't get any better. Would Travis
Right. For
Etienne
Jacksonville,
be
that
Steelers
was
better
great
than
for that reason.
Najee Harris?
What about Pittsburgh? See?
But it does. Well, I mean, it does matter where you land. We talked about that earlier, right? So
Michael
for
Carter at the
Pittsburgh,
Steelers.
Pittsburgh needed an offensive lineman, or for God's sakes, like is Ben going to play till 65? You needed to trade up. You need to start taking opportunities. Chicago made a run, right? You need to start passing off some later on debt or later on draft equity to get yourself a quarterback. Or is Mason Rudolph it? Or is it Dwayne Haskins? You know, make some aggressive moves. Najee Harris.
They went for a tight end in round 2 with Pat Firma.
I think that's what they needed because that's their whole system is predicated always around a power back.
Yeah,
always has been, and they got the same coach, so it ain't changing. So that's the piece that they were missing that they haven't had for the years that they've been bad these last few years. So to me, it just made sense. But
Steelers football is run the ball, stop the run. And you know what's funny? I think we can all agree on this. You know how like sometimes players just feel like a team? Like there's no real way to describe that quote, but there's like players just feel like a team. well, who feels more like a Steeler than Najee Harris and Pat Freiermuth? They both feel like Steelers. And you know what? With Ben's arm dwindling, and yes, they're going to have to find their successor soon. But what I think, Jack, it was even you saying a couple weeks ago that they're doing right by Ben. You know, letting him, like, you know, signing him, even if they don't really expect to necessarily compete. Well, now you have Ebron and Freiermuth to create a really nice 12 personnel with 2 big bodies for a waning arm. And you have Claypool and Washington. I guess if you want to take your deep shots, Claypool can play the middle of the field. And you have your power running back again. They're going to be able to they're going to be able to dink and dime their way down the field a lot more effectively, and a good defense to boot. The AFC North is going to be really, really tough this year.
It's going to be fun again. Okay, guys. I want to go into one more thing, and then we'll probably wrap this up. But give me your topic. Give me your thing about the draft that you want to talk about. Something that happened, something you've seen, whatever. Go ahead, Lamar. Tell me something about the draft.
I really don't. I'm talking about overall. I really don't like the 3-day thing. I liked it back in the day when it was Saturday and Sunday.
Make it long days, huh?
Yeah, I like the long days. It was something about getting up early that Saturday morning to me, at least for me.
I want to talk about the Detroit Lions. I'm sure all of you guys were watching the ESPN cast, right, as the first round went on. And you see, like, the war rooms after the picks are made get excited. And, the Bears got super excited. They got their quarterback, and you get your wide receiver. I have never, ever seen the sheer, raw excitement felt by that Lions war room for drafting an offensive tackle. And good for them, too, by the way, because Penny School should not have been there at 7. It was a great, great pick for them. But come on. Kneecap biting Dan Campbell. He was hugging Brad Holmes, and they were jumping for joy over an offensive tackle, and that is the story. That is the story. And I'd hold up this, even though it's not Lions, to reiterate.
Go ahead, Jack.
So I want to talk about the one thing that dominates the town that it was held in every year, right? It's the weather, right? The weather dominates Cleveland football because they got to be powerful. They got to have backs. And sometimes they play games that are 13-10, and they know that they have to play them. I thought it was awesome that it was kind of cool, at least, to see that there were reporters that showed up unprepared. Like, Liam, I don't know if you know it, but Adam Schefter, after a while, was wearing a blanket.
Well, it was freezing. And listen, I was working right in front of Schefter's booth. I got pictures with all the ESPN guys that weren't Adam Schefter because he was on the phone most of the time. It was like his setup was not advantageous for him. He needed that. He's an inside guy, and it was brick in that.
Dude, he was covered up like E.T. getting ready for Elliot's basket. It was. I was about to start messing you. Like, Liam, you better find a burn barrel in Cleveland because it's getting cold.
Listen, I'm shivering in the rain on Thursday right before NFL Live starts, and Mina Kimes and Matt Miller are both just shivering in a magenta blanket. It was great.
I thought that was great how it turned throughout the night. I thought that was an unsung story.
Matt, what was your story for the night, for the weekend?
My story was the depth of quality across cornerbacks and safeties this year, just how deep it was from round 1 to round 7. And I just think it was really exciting. I am a quarterback, wide receiver. I love my offense, but the secondary, I think really intrigued me this year. And I just think this year there's a lot of ball hawking cornerbacks that came out the draft. There's a lot of guys that can play nickel zone man. There's lots of guys that are hybrids of safeties and cornerbacks. So I think this
very
year,
interchangeable.
This year it's going to be fun. I think you're going to have the deep balls. The cornerbacks are going to be in a lot more trouble on deep balls the way the guys are reading the deep field this year.
Yeah.
Matt, tell me, is Zach McPherson, was he a good pick? Because I looked up his rankings and stuff, and it did not seem like a good pick. Go Birds.
No.
Well,
I didn't think so.
Uncle Howie likes him.
Well, no, I think
it's bad. One good pick in 8 years.
I think this year, I think obviously I know we were joking about the last alien of. I did a tweet about the Pats. Day 3, we've had some successes, and it's not you get your 1 or 2, and there were random names coming up. And I know we all do our research. And you get to 250 players, and there's players that turn up we've never heard of that they've got no tape on. And I think that you might find 1 or 2 really good players in there, but just cornerbacks this year to have 4 or 5 really strong rounds of secondaries and safeties there. I think there's these guys. Yeah, they can play in different schemes. They all went to good schools, and I just think there is something there to be exciting now, where you can watch a cornerback and think this guy's great. You're not just looking for a receiver. They're able to mark the man. They're able to play infield. They work the sideline well, and I just think it's going to be fun this year. I don't think
there were at least 3 teams that had a pair of cornerbacks, or a cornerback and a safety. Our UCF who had 3. A safety and 2 cornerbacks.
Georgia had 3.
Yep, and I said it. This was an Oprah special. You know, everybody gets a cornerback this year. Everybody gets a DB, you know, like they were handing them out, and nobody should complain because everybody had a chance to get a quality DB. So to me, I'm with you. That was my whole story of this draft was how many quality DBs were out there, and how many there were a few good quality DBs that did not get drafted.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Daniel I think the Eagles took him as an undrafted free safety. Marco Wilson from Gators went on round 5. Trey Dean wasn't selected. Trey Brown went round 3. So, yeah, I think that a lot of the top guys did take a long time to go. And I can't believe Morag and Molden dropped, because Elijah Molden went very, very late.
Look, we would be praising the Raiders draft if they went Merrick round 1 and Leatherwood round 2. It's just a matter of the fact that they switched them.
They would have found something wrong with that pick, the Morrick pick too. They never liked our draft.
Great draft.
Does anybody though?
One thing that surprises me about the Raiders was they didn't take a wide receiver.
Jack said the biggest deal around 1 was Justin Fields. I agree.
We will see. Well, everybody, man, it was a great weekend. It was a great draft as always. This was fun to have everybody back again. Me and Matt had a good time the other day, but this was always fun to have everybody back here. I can't say enough. It was a great draft. I mean, for first time in a long time, it had me interested for multiple days. Usually I give up after the first day and, you know, just see what happens. But this time I actually stuck it out for the whole weekend. So,
and Paul, we do have, now just to be clear before we get off with everybody, guys, we will have some of these freshly drafted players memorabilia available at theeverydayfan.com very shortly, correct?
I'm sure we will get some. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for sure. And any of them that you want that you don't see, just let me know. Hit me up in the comments on Twitter. There's my handle right there, and we can find what you need. That's for sure. So great point there, Jack. As always, this is brought to you by theeverydayfan.com, and we will be having some new fresh faces on our next episode to say welcome to. We got a couple of good people, so sponsors that'll be coming in. So I appreciate everybody though, and this was great. And we will do this again next week. Not the same time, probably not the same place, but we will do it again.
Stop being such a hater, Jack. Go Birds.
Appreciate all of you.